The Romantic era of chess is a period from around 1850 to 1950. In this period, chess players mainly relied on tactics, wild sacrifices, and extremely dynamic play. One of the most famous games from the Romantic era of chess is the game between Adolf Anderssen and Lionel Kieseritzky. It was played in London in 1851. Nowadays, it is known as the Immortal Game. Anderssen gave up almost all his pieces to checkmate his opponent. e4, e5, f4. This is the king's gambit. White offers a pawn as early as on move 2 to get a lead in development. The king's gambit was a fashionable opening at that time. It leads the extremely sharp play. Today, due to the dominance of strong chess engines, databases, and improved defensive techniques, the king's gambit is considered to be a risky opening for white. The world's best players usually don't play it in serious tournament games. Still, playing the king's gambit can be a lot of fun even today. E-cut f4. Black accepts the gambit. Bishop to c4, white quickly develops his bishop to an active square and eyes black's pawn on f7. Queen to h4 check. Black gives a check and forces white's king to move. Afterwards, white won't be able to castle. This shows us that the king's gambit is a double-edged opening. White tries to go for a quick attack against black's king, but his own king won't be safe either. King to f1, b5, black wants to drive away white's bishop from the dangerous a2 g8 diagonal. Bishop capture b5. The material balance is restored. Both players took a pawn. However, the position remains sharp. Knight to f6. Black develops a piece and attacked the e4 pawn. Knight to f3. Queen to h6, d3. White stabilizes his center. Knight to h5. This move threatens knight to g3 check. However, most of black's pieces aren't developed and he moves a piece twice in the opening, a risky decision. Knight to h4. White stops the threat of knight to g3 check and wants to bring his knight to f5. Queen to g5. Knight to f5, c6. g4 weird move. Black can't take the pawn en passant as the f4 pawn is pinned. Knight to f6. Rook to g1. White protects his pawn but sacrifices a piece at the same time. The bishop on b5 is still hanging. C capture b5. Black wins a whole piece but loses time to develop his pieces. h4. White has to go all out for an attack. He can't play calmly as he is a piece down. Queen to g6. h5, queen to g5. Queen to f3. With this move, white creates two threats at the same time. 1. White plans to play bishop capture f4, trapping black's queen. 2. White threatens to play e5, attacking black's knight on f6 and simultaneously the unprotected black rook at a8. Knight to g8. Black defends against both threats by retreating his knight. Now, the queen has an escape square on d8 and e4 e5 no longer attacks the knight on f6. However, black moves his knight back to g8 and loses even more time. Bishop capture f4. A logical move, winning a pawn and developing a piece. Queen to f6. Knight to c3, bishop to c5. Knight to d5. White brings his knight to the excellent d5 square. Queen capture b2. Black takes on b2 and attacks white's rook on a1. Bishop to d6. A surprising move with a brilliant idea in mind by Anderssen. Black can't take the bishop as this would lead to mate. However, both white's rooks are hanging. Bishop capture g1. e5. With this move, white sacrifices another rook. However, white's move blocks the queen from participating in the defense as the a1 h8 diagonal is closed now. Queen capture a1 check. King to e2, knight to a6. With this move, black defends against a threat. Knight capture g7 check, king to d8, bishop to c7 checkmate. However, white has another beautiful mate in 3 now. Can you spot it? Knight capture g7 check, king to d8, queen to f6 check, knight capture f6, bishop to e7 checkmate. This was chess in the Romantic era. White sacrificed a queen, 2 rooks, and a bishop to mate black with only 3 pieces, a masterpiece by Anderssen, and one of the most chess games of all the time. Thank you for watching. See you in my next video with one of the best chess games in history.